It's regarding continuing the contract from our technical writer. It helps our technical reports and in our quarterly our newsletter and our report, our annual report. And then Dwayne might talk just a little bit further on that.
Yeah, thank you, Director Lane. Yes, I do have a couple of slides to add to the discussion. This is this would be the second amendment to the professional service agreement that we have with Alicia Semchek. She's been doing our technical writing for the last 5 years. She has a wealth of knowledge in history about the agencies, is very familiar with most of our projects. And then continuing with her as our technical writer will provide us a high level of continuity and being able to release information in a timely fashion. This amendment number 2 is under the same terms and conditions as the previous amendment. The committee did take a look at the time frame and indicated that because we are a few months or 6 months actually late on renewing the contract, they thought it would be prudent to approve it for an 18-month term, which would get us to actually was going to be to the end of, would be June, actually December 31st of 2023 is what we talked about. There's a typo there in the date. The current bill or currently monthly amount for 30 hours of service is $1,500 for the month, and this fee is also included in our budget. Here's some examples of some of the work that she has provided us, just to give you an indication here. Here's our customer newsletter over here. This it's contained in this particular section. This corresponds to our newsletter that we have internally with our employees. This is some of the work that she's working on the legacy book that the Public Information Committee is working on, and here's some of the chapters that are outlined in that. And then also we have examples of 3 different press releases that were created and distributed to give you an idea of that level of work that she's done in the past for us. At this particular point, the Public Relations Committee wanted to continue on with technical writing in order to be able to produce the type of documents that will be necessary for press releases and communications with the public. And this is, if the board approves the agreement for the professional services, and then to authorize the general manager to execute that said agreement. Be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. President, Director Lane also moved that on Board Order 8A-1 for the continued work for technical writing with Alicia Semchek, an amount of $1,500 per month.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Director Van Dam will second.
Thank you.
This is Director Sourceville. I have a question.
Certainly.
The bills that come across the Finance Committee, it occurs to me that they're $1,500 a month. So is she actually working 30 hours a month? And do we have documentation on that?
Yes, it's a 1,500. We do have documentation on that, and she has a retainer agreement for that $1,500 a month. So that's in the contract. So and so the 30 hours is what she's supposed to bill us for, not more than 30 hours.
But is she working 30 hours?
Yes.
What if she works 40 hours?
Then it's still, she gets paid for 30 hours. It's a retainer.
So has she been working 30 hours or 40 hours or 20 hours or consistently 30?
I'd have to review, to give you a precise answer, I'd have to review the bills that we've received. I can certainly prepare those and present those to the Finance Committee at our next meeting to take a look at that if you have an interest in pursuing that.
Okay, I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
Any more questions or discussion?
Yes, this is Director Miller. I have a question.
Okay.
The sample that's in our agenda of that agreement on page 50, it says the term of agreement from January 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. So what are the actual dates of the agreement? Is it this or is it what Dwayne said?
The intent of the Public Relations Committee was to provide 18 months of contract extension from today's date to get to the end of 2023.
Okay, so the agreement will reflect the correct date.
Yes, we'll make those corrections.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions or discussion?
And one question, and well, this is for clarification. It speaks about $1,500 per month, not less than 30 hours of services. In we're not paying her. Dwayne, you might try to help clarify this, but she's working $1,500, per month, but. Is that necessarily, if she does more than 30 hours, it's $50, per hour. But if she does less, I'm not so sure. And we're paying her $1,500, per month, and it could be 30 hours, it could be less than 30 hours, but it's $1,500 regardless. I would think that when you have a retainer, a minimum amount, and that's how it probably should be written, whether it's 20 hours, 25, or 30 hours, it's $1,500, $1,500 per month. If there's more than 30 hours, it's $50. So I think that would usually how minimums retainers are made, are done.
Yes, under section 3.31 under compensation in the agreement, it says the services rendered on this agreement on an hourly rate of $50 per hour up to 30 hours per month. And so and then any extra work has to be authorized.
So I think if she worked 25 or 30, that's the minimum. So I'm not, right. I don't think, the question is it exactly work 30 hours every month? I don't think that should be the issue, or is the issue.
Okay. Thank you, Director Lane. Are there any more questions or discussion? Hearing none. We have a roll call vote, please.
Harry Van Dam.
Yes.
Audrey Miller.
Yes.
Robert Harris.
Yes.
George Lane.
Yes.
Shelley Sorsable.
Yes.
Frank Donato.
Yes.
Keith Dias.
Yes, the measure passes unanimously. Thank you. Next item, General Manager Report. Dwayne?
Yes, thank you, Board President Dias. The Board of Directors, or the General Manager's Report for July 12th, 2022. I'm going to start off with a discussion about the DWR Dry Year Program. Just to give a background on what this program is, how it's been administered, some recommendations for improvement, and just to give a general background of how this program has been handled over the years. So please stop me along the way if you want to add some additional clarity. So DWR conducts a dry year program. They have two sources of water. that are provided in that program. One's includes the Yuba River Accord, which is a separate agreement and a negotiated price for that water with the Yuba Water Agency. And then there is a dry year transfer program that allows for transfers of water from various public and private entities that are north of the Delta that have water rights that they can release and transfer that water to state water contractors. This water, what they call the dry year water program, is water that's provided on an annual basis to various contractors who need it at a particular time. There's a cost associated with that water, and that water is made available based on Table A amounts. So the quantity of water that Avek would receive is usually pretty low in this particular program. The DWR contract that was signed by Avek occurred in 2008, and the current agreement expires in 2025. So there'll be a new agreement in 2025, but the program continues. This program is not required. We don't have to implement it or use this water in most years. We usually monitor it, and we have sufficient supplies so that we don't have to incur the added expense of acquiring this dry year water program. The 3 years that we have used it was the drought in 2009, which was shortly after the contract was signed. 2014 during that 3-year drought, and then again this year. In anticipation of another dry year, staff and the board budgeted $2 million in this fiscal year for this program to be utilized to pay for the dry year program costs. In the past, the administration of this agreement was performed at the GM level, and what I'm recommending is that we change that approach, and or next year or any year in the future that we would go into a dry year program, that we begin that water planning cycle. Usually that's in February, March, where we have an indication of what our allocation is going to be, and then have the board provide some maximum authorizations, either in quantity or water quantity or dollar amounts, to provide the general managers with some guidance. The agreement that's drafted is drafted in such a way so that it is very well suited for GM level implementation. Because there's a lot of negotiations and ongoing discussions during the course of the 4 or 5 months where prices are negotiated, carriage losses are determined, and so forth. But I still think that it would be better to have further and more improved communication on this program in the future as we move forward with it. Here's some of the agencies. There's 22 agencies that are participating in the first source of water, the Yuba Accord, and you can see most of the quite a few. There's 22 out of the 27, so all but 5 are participating in the Yuba Accord water. To give you specifics with regards to what the Yuba Accord supply was, there was about 75,462 acre feet that was available to all the state water contractors. The total amount to Avek was not dollar amounts, but is 1,036 acre feet. So that's what we were able to receive from the program. The estimated cost is $1,097. Let's see. Yeah, that's the estimated cost, $1,095. And then the cost per acre.
You need 1 million?
1,095,000. I'm sorry, my eyes are not looking correctly. We have $1 million, at a cost per acre foot of $1,057.
Now, how many acre feet again was that?
That's for 1,036 acre feet. Okay.
So that's just about. Is that just about $1,000?
Yeah, it's a little over $1,000 an acre foot. Okay, and then looks at the dry year transfer program. This is a little bit different in that it's negotiated annually with DWR and U.S. Bureau of Reclamation to provide water to add to the amount of water that's available. There's only 17,680 acre feet available for state water purchase. We got 549 acre feet of that. The cost of that was $1,143 per acre foot, and for a total cost of $627,200 per acre total cost for this particular amount of water. The agencies that were involved with this, to give you an idea, included Metropolitan, Kern County. They take the largest amount, and then you got some Napa, which is north of the Delta, Palmdale, and then also the Central Coast Water Authority, along with ourselves in Alameda County. Some other factors to consider as we were going through this process. In order to receive health and safety water that the agency needs, we needed to use all available water first, including the dry year water program. The other advantage to this supplemental water supply addition is that it can be delivered during the peak summer months when we need it the most to meet our customer needs. We are planning to use a little less than 5,000 acre feet of health and safety water. The major reason for that is that's a one-for-one exchange, or that exchange might even change in the future, but for right now it's one-for-one exchange. So we want to avoid as much of that health and safety water as we can. As you may remember, we talked about having close to 20,000 acre feet available. However, we were able to work with our customers and reduce the amount of health and safety water we would need down to 5,000 acre feet. Just some facts. I recently saw an agency-to-agency transfer of market rate water at $2,500 an acre foot. And our current cost for our 5% of state water allocation is $3,500 per acre foot. And so the bottom line is,
repeat that again, about 3,500.
In other words, if you the cost of our 7,234 acre feet that we're getting from Table A is $3,500 an acre foot. That's what it costs. So, because as you get more water, the price stays the same. As you get more water, the price goes down. So bottom line is we will receive about 1,585 acre feet at a total cost of $1.7 million with a melted cost of $1,087 per acre foot. So
I have a question. Dwayne, these costs, this basically, is this considered an insurance policy?
I would say it's more than an insurance policy. It is probably these additional water supplies are really critical in the summer period. If we're going to run, I mean not just us, but Waterworks 40s. If Waterworks 40 or 37 are going to run short of water, where they don't have enough either through their production of their well system and with the water we implement, it's going to be during those peak summer months. And this 1,500 acre feet adds several hundred acre feet per month that helps to support those deliveries. So
okay, so this program only applies to state water contractors. So the question I have is this: I'm just throwing this out. I'm not saying this is what's going to be done, but I'm throwing this out. Don't you think that the ones that use this water or use this program should sign up on this program, like LA County Waterworks or anybody else who wants to be a part of this and pay this type of money? Why should we build this into our water rate and make everybody else pay for it when they might not need it?
As far as generating the same amount of revenue, it changed who pays for it. The other, I think we.
Yeah, but let me ask a question. Don't we have to pay for this now?
Yeah, we have to pay for it now.
Okay, yeah, but okay.
Let me finish, Frank.
Okay.
I think next year what we can do is we can get just as I mentioned early in the presentation, as next year if we go into this type of program, we can get Waterworks 40 and any of the other customers that wish to be part of this to allow them to give us an approval to go ahead and acquire the water with some estimated costs. And because the problem is that the costs and the expenses vary. We won't know till the very end exactly what they're going to be, but we can certainly work out an arrangement to where that is paid for by those that wish to utilize it.
Yeah, Dwayne, along those same lines, we're going to be selling water for much less than what we're paying for it. Now, where's this fund's going to come from Avek specifically?
That's a good question.
All comes from the water rates.
Well, that's where our water rates less. We're selling it for less. We're not changing the water rate this year. The water rate's less in what we're paying for this water. So how can that doesn't?
I mean, it was
not going to happen.
It's been included in the budget. We had a $2 million allocation for this program. This program's $1.7 million, and so it's already been incorporated in the water rates for this year.
But we haven't set the water rate yet.
We haven't set the water rate for 2023. We have the water rate for 2022.
But that's what this water's for, isn't it?
Yes, 22.
Well, I mean, I just that's what I was asking the question. If it's going to go into our water rate, that means the people that don't need this program are going to be paying for it, even if we budgeted it $2 million. So basically, what you're saying is we should spend the $2 million and spread this cost across the board to 80% of the people that don't need this emergency water.
Well, yeah,
that's a question. I'm trying to get an understanding.
You're correct. You're correct. This year it is spread across all of the water purveyors that are customers to Avek. Yes, so it's an incremental cost that's been added to there. So, and what I'm suggesting is that for next year, because assuming we're going into another dry year, and we need to utilize Yuba water or the dry year water program, that we do just what you say, Frank, in February and March, when we're getting ready to know our allocation, we can get an authorization from our customers that would like to be part of the program and have them pay their fair share.
But this is a special program. It's not from our entitlement.
Right.
So that still does not make it right. I'm not on the Water Rates Committee, so I wasn't aware of this $2 million, and it wasn't. I don't remember any specifically how that was presented, but it seemed like we maybe should do something, this year that, our entitlements, cut, not because of our fault, because of the drought, because of the state, and since it's above and beyond, and people have the option at this point to pay that extra amount, and the ones that do not need it are not supplementing the ones that do need it, and the ones that pre-planned and had ample, wells or did everything they could in their power.
Right.
But now you've got we don't know what percentage, but you've got some people supplementing other water agencies.
Right.
But, and I agree with George. I was thinking the way this is being presented now is that I'm thinking that if let's say LA County Waterworks jumped on board, or whoever does jump on board, the rest of the purveyors that would be taken out, and it would also soften any additional water rate increase by doing something like this.
Yeah, definitely. In LA County, because I don't know their budget, but they'd probably be the one. It would be most affected by the county water district. They probably have reserves for things like this. They probably have funds.
It seems like we should have two rates. Seems like we should have two rates. We should have a dry water rate if they want to implement that when we have a dry year like this year. That's a supplemental charge.
I agree with. I've always said that, and I agree with that 100% concept. Because why should the rest of the people pay for something they're not going to use?
Yeah, I wouldn't be happy. I think we need to take a look at this a little bit. We might have to make an adjustment to our water rates midterm.
And you know another thing? We're coming up with these different budget study sessions we're having. It's not too late to do anything. Just because somebody threw in $2 million for this, and we now understand and analyze this, it's not too late to do anything.
But
because it's not fair.
We have additional water, whatever it would be, we know about what it would be. And those who care to participate, it's going to cost X number of dollars per acre foot. And nothing's wrong with that.
Right.
Everybody would have the opportunity to, at some, the percentage of what their contract is. And this is what it costs if you need this. You're going to pay X number of dollars. And we know how much water is available approximately now, and we know approximately what it's going to cost.
Another thing too, look at the bottom of it, Avek will receive, but the cost of this water is $1,000 per acre foot. And when you alluded to earlier, George, that our wholesale rates are around $600. I don't know, we're somewhere on there. Yeah. So why should somebody pay another 40% more if they're not using it?
No, I 100% agree.
So how do we fix this now?
Well, let me give. I've got your input. Let me see. Give me an opportunity to review that, and I'll come back and give us some options on what we can do moving forward. We do have, and that's probably the best way to go. I do know that Waterworks is going to pay the lion's share of this anyway, regardless of which way it gets done. So it'll end up being just about the same for them, regardless. But in any event, I'll let me take a look at it and come back with a recommended approach.
Do you know what LA County Waterworks? Do you know what their rate is, Wayne, or approximately? Do anybody know?
I don't know what do you know what the rate is?
It's going to vary. You're talking about what they're charging to their customers. Yeah, it varies. It's a tier system.
But it'll probably have a minimal impact on LA County Water District because they're already considerably higher than our rate.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're different. I mean, they include, in addition to our water rate, they have all their other costs and expenses.
It used to be, a number of years ago, they'd have a representative come to the AVAC, and since that hasn't happened in years, and so it's too bad they don't. But I think that they should, at least an item like this, should have a representative here.
You can certainly invite them.
Yeah, I know. George, I know they do have representatives that call in and listen to the meetings, and I believe they have somebody online today. So I'm not sure if it's the right person to make comment, but they do have somebody listening.
I have another comment I would like to make. And again, this is I want you to look at this statement I want to make. We are treating water and serving a Palmdale Water District client over here, West Parker. What is that place called?
West Side Park and El Dorado Mutual Water Company.
No, which is in Palmdale District.
El Dorado Park and Westside Park.
Okay, so why, again, here's another example. Why should the water we're serving them? I know it's Palmdale's allocation, but that allocation is coming from us. It's going to take away from our existing customers. Okay, there's got to be an adjustment somehow. If they want this water to be delivered to them, I don't think our taxpayer people should be supplementing it.
Okay, we can look into that.
Thank you. I don't mind helping them, get them the water, but you know what? They need to pay the price. They shouldn't. Our people that are the taxpayers of this agency shouldn't be supplementing other people. And we're doing basically the work for them. So they should be contacted. Palmdale should contact, say, hey, we're going to buy the standby water. God forbid we have to use it, but it's going to cost this amount of money.
I'll get back to you at the next meeting or the meeting after that to get into it a little bit further. Thank you.
I don't know. Is that soon enough?
We got a meeting on Tuesday. Next Tuesday we got a meeting.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what he's saying. When are you saying? He said the next board meeting.
At the next board meeting, yes.
Yeah, so that's 2 weeks, but we're in summer and it's hot. And
I understand. But either I need to contact the other water customers and determine what they would like to do with regards to this additional cost of water to get you an accurate number of how much is going to be utilized and how much won't be.
What do you mean by that? You need to contact them.
In other words, if I contact Waterworks 40, they say, yeah, that's fine, go ahead. And I contact Shadow Acres and they say, no, we don't need it. Then that's that much water, that's additional water that's available for somebody else. So I need to see who wants to be and who doesn't want to be, and then the costs that are associated with each one.
So you're telling me that we don't know that already, and we're looking to spend $1.7 million?
Well, we do know that already, but we were going to spread the cost evenly over all of our customers, of which 85% of our customers, Waterworks 40, and the other 5 to 6 or 7% is Quartz Hill. And both of them have expressed interest in being able to get additional water supplies to us previously. So I don't think it's going to be the only difference would be is that those that decide not to get that additional water, then that water would have to be go to those other districts that do want to get it so that we're going to get the accounting done properly.
So are you saying that you're going to call them and tell them we have this water available, but it's going to cost more money? Do you still want it? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. That's what you're saying is it's going to cost more money. And, but there's also, we can't charge them twice. So we've already charged them in the water rate. So we're going to have to give a credit, basically create the two-tier system that you're talking about. That's why I said I got to have an opportunity to take a look at it because it's not as simple as that. It would be much cleaner to do it next year when you could start out fresh with new supplies.
Where are we going to get the money, Dwayne? You just make it sound like it's no big deal. Where are we going to get the money?
We already have the money in the budget.
Wait till you see when we get done with Rapatellis. Came out today that the month of May in the United States, inflation rate for the month was 9%. You know what I mean? You keep on digging away in our reserves. What I'm saying is, let's talk to these people. It's not too late. This is a crisis year. This is a crisis year. If it wasn't a crisis year, LA County Waterworks wouldn't be sending out restrictions on their water. So anybody, we give them the option, an opportunity, and that's what we got to do because we represent everybody, not just the 80%.
in that water rate, it's built in, but we're probably not going to be selling as much water as we thought we would with the mandated cutback. So that complicates it a little bit more.
I don't believe this $2 million is put in the water rate.
Yes, it is. It's in the water rate.
We've already built this in for this year's water rate.
Correct.
But regardless, we're not going to be selling as much water as we thought we were.
Hey, Dwayne, this is Rob. I have a question.
Sure.
Is there any time frame that we have to let them know that we are purchasing the water, or have we already done that?
We've already made the notification that we would be purchasing the water.
And when do we have to purchase it by?
We have to. It's a phased billing process that they go through with deposits and other things. It'll be through the course of the fiscal year that we'll be making the payments. The choice now is to change the way in which we collect the funds for to be able to serve that water.
Okay, so we're already committed to buy it. We've already said that we're going to, and now we're just looking at how we're going to charge it out to our customers.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, this is Bilal with LA County Waterworks. This may be above my level in terms of getting involved with this or even kind of making any kind of decision, but I could pass this back to my team and admin on what's being discussed here. But to better kind of get that process started, just because it looks like this is going to be something coming pretty quickly, do you guys anticipate how much of this extra health and safety water we District 40 and District 37 would need by any chance or not?
Yes, we've estimated that we would have, in addition to the Yuba water that we're talking about, or the dry year program water, we're anticipating using 5,000 acre feet or less of health and safety water.
Okay. But do you know how much that would go towards specifically for us?
It would be, I would say that 85% or thereabouts, the vast majority of it.
Okay. Just because I know that there was some talks about how we're going to have a shortage where we're not going to have enough supplies, including our own groundwater. So I was just curious if there was a number that you guys had, but okay, I can just assume 85% then.
I've got a question of you. Approximately what percentage cutback or is LA County Water District experiencing at this point?
To be honest, it's kind of tough to answer with the specific number. I haven't, so there's a lot of projections that we've been making, and we've been under our estimates for the most part for most of the year, so that's kind of helped our cause. But that's a number that kind of changes every month. So I don't have an exact value for you there, but I would imagine maybe, I don't know, 5 to 10% maybe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions for Dwayne on the dry year water program?
Okay.
Apparently not.
Okay. For the more mundane subjects here on the General Manager's report, you can see here we're not anticipating any precipitation, I should say, in the month of July. Here's our chart, and you can anticipate that we won't receive any significant rainfall through the rest of this water year, which ends in October. The current conditions that we have here are in San Luis and Oroville Reservoir. You can see there that we are at 46% of total capacity and 63% of historical average, which is the red line that's associated here. And the San Luis Reservoir conditions are 36% of historical average, 71% of historical average, only 36% full. You can see that some of these Southern California reservoirs are a little more full than others, but there's quite a bit of these are topped off because they're very small. But you can see there's Oroville and Lake Shasta. You can see how far down it is, and Trinity in here. So they're all in pretty bad shape as far as reservoir capacity goes throughout the state. Here's our graph. This is average, and you can see we're considerably below average. We're going to hit probably down in this range in here with regards to Lake Oroville, which will be better than the last couple of years that we dipped down even farther. The only good news with regards to that is that means that we probably will meet vast majority of our water quality standards in the Delta. Looking at the San Luis Reservoir conditions here, you can see that we're over in this range in here. This is going to be drafted down over the next several months, and you'll see ranges in right in this area in here. You can see our demand for water here. See, we're looking at about 13 million gallons a day is our current flow. Coming out of the plant, about 21 million total between the various plants all put together. Our geopurification, you can see the West Side Water Bank pulling in about 14.3 million gallons a day, and we're still using Bench Ranch for about 18 million. So, probably so we're using more of our groundwater supplies than we are of our surface water supplies because we simply don't have those. And on the east side, you can see that we're still doing a little bit of banking over there just to keep our extractions in balance. We had a couple of, from operation maintenance updates, we had a couple of valve replacements at the East Side Water Treatment Plant that were completed. And we went through a fire alarm system test in our operations center this week. As far as the water quality, we continue to maintain our standards. We had the TOC analyzer done maintenance on, and then our monthly samples, and we're going to start the ag well testing. It's going to be performed, so we consistently moving our testing. As far as the next event, we're going to have a budget workshop on the operation and maintenance portion of our budget, and then we have a water master meeting on the 27th. I'll be in the office next couple of weeks, and that's all I have.
Any questions for? Are there any questions for Dwayne? If not,
I'm sorry, this is Director Miller. Can I ask a question of Dwayne?
Sure.
Dwayne, in regards to the additional water, as of this point in time, if one of our customers needed additional water, how is that priced and billed? Is it at the current rate, or can you tell me more about that?
Yes, all the water that's delivered is delivered under a water rate schedule that is adopted by the board. So anytime we acquire additional water above and beyond this DWR program, that is would be rely on their have to rely on their own system to be able to accomplish that, or some other arrangement between a neighboring neighboring water district, or whether it be a retail agency or mutual or any of the others.
That's a good question, Audrey. And remember, Avek is a supplemental supplier.
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
When water is available.
Right. Thank you.
Any more questions for Dwayne? If not, we'll move along to item 10. Do any directors have a report?
I have Director Lane, I have one comment. On our consent calendar, we have, for the check register, for years and years, that was it was a separate item, and it gave the directors that aren't on the finance committee just a few more minutes to review that. And I would like for the board to think about that, if we could put it back on consent calendar. If there's no questions, it'll just take a minute or two extra. If it's a question, that gives us a little extra time for the board to look at that and comment on it. So we did that for, like I say, multiple years, and I'm not sure how long ago it was changed, but it's been recent years it was put on the consent calendar. But if we can think about that in next meeting, maybe talk about it a little bit more.
I think that could be done. What do you think, Dwayne?
Yeah, we'd be happy to put it on the regular finance report if the rest of the directors concur.
Thank you, George. Are there any more directors' reports? If not, item 11, attorney's report. Sheldon?
Nothing to report, President Dias.
Thank you. Item 12, are there any requests for future agenda items? If not, we'll move along. There's no old business tonight. Item 14, is there a reason to go into closed session tonight, Dwayne?
The only reason would be to, if the board would like to continue with item C, which is the board officer evaluations of the general manager and the board secretary positions. Otherwise, no need.
Mr. President, this is Rob. We should go into closed session for about 15 minutes.
Thank you very much. Do I have a motion to go into closed session for item 14C?
Mr. President, I move we go into closed session for item 14C.
Thank you.
This Director Sourceable, I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller,
Yeah.
Robert Paris,
Yes.
George Lane,
Yes.
Shelley Sourceable,
Yes.
Frank Donato,
Yes.
Keith Dias.
Yes, the measure passes, and we'll go into closed session as soon as Holly can make that transition. Thank you.
Thank you. Please stand by.